Welcome, everyone, to our first episode of season 4, 5, or 3, or whatever this is, of Generally Irritable. That's right, you guys. I was thinking about it recently when we were getting ready to relaunch the interview program. How long have we been doing this? How long has Generally Irritable been around? How long have I been talking to you guys about the craziness in politics these days? And I realized I actually started in 2018, posting a few little videos here and there, did more in 2019, grew even more, and really established myself and established the program in 2020. So I think this might technically be like a season 3 launch of Generally Irritable, which is really exciting. And I have two of my favorite people in Vermont politics as my guests today. I was really excited and really intentional about having our two guests today. They're going to come on separately and maybe overlap a little bit, but you guys know them, you love them, Vicki Strong and Guy Page. Okay, these are two powerhouses in Vermont politics, people who have been standing up and fighting for liberty, freedom, for justice, equality, all those things. These are people who really care about you, who care about conservative values, care about Vermont. And so that's why when we were looking at relaunching, it was like, okay, what do I think would be most important to kind of have setting the stage for this season of Generally Irritable? And who are some of the people that I respect the most in Vermont politics? So again, really excited. We're going to have Vicki Strong on, former House rep in Vermont. She's going to correct me. I believe she was an assembly member, not a senator. So you guys, I'm fired for not remembering this correctly. She's the new legislative liaison for Convention of States, which you have heard me talk about 1,000 times, how much I love Convention of States and everything that they do. And as a longtime supporter of Convention of States, I can tell you I am super duper excited that Vicki Strong is on board with us, helping us out. And of course, Guy Page, editor and chief of Vermont Daily Chronicle. So one of the few conservative news outlets in Vermont. Guy Page is bringing you the news every day, the stuff that you don't want to hear. Bless his heart. He's going to all these legislative sessions, listening to all this crazy talk, and then having to kind of distill it down to a readable, comprehensible format for all of us to try to keep up with. And so again, just really excited and honored to have these two folks on today talking about things that matter to me and matter to you, matter to Vermont, and matter to the Republic. So before we get all the way into it, make sure you like, share, and subscribe to the channel, the video, whatever it is. Make sure you ring the notification bell on YouTube. And most importantly, you guys, we're on Rumble now. We're streaming live on Rumble. So you don't have to go to YouTube. You don't have to go to the big tech censors and oligarchs to enjoy this programming. You can go to Rumble. We're on Rumble, YouTube, Instagram, all of the places. We got a little bit less coverage, if you will, on places like Gab and stuff like that. We're still figuring out all the details, but we're really looking to grow and expand the channel. So not just covering Vermont, but covering topics and events and things that are going on around the country that affect Vermont and affect Vermont politics. And as always, the goal is to try to get some energy and attention to move the needle towards conservatism in Vermont, because I know a lot of people think that Vermont is a lost cause. I know there's a lot of people that think that there is no hope and that we can't do anything, and why bother trying? Well, I can tell you guys, in my experience traveling across this country, covering different events, talking to different people, they're dealing with the same things everywhere. If you're in a primarily Democratic area like we are in Vermont, it's the Republicans who are, it's the Democrats who are overreaching, and those of us who are conservative feel put upon and infringed upon. But in places like Texas, where it's a lot of Republicans in charge, the Democrats and libertarians feel put upon and infringed upon. And so it doesn't matter where you are in the country. It doesn't matter what your political affiliation is. People are, I believe, are really starting to wake up to the idea of self-governance. No matter what party you are, no matter how you affiliate or how you identify, people understand that they cannot leave it to the hands of the government to do what they want, to take care of themselves and their families. And so, in that theme of self-governance and continuing self-governance, I'm going to go ahead and bring Vicki Strong in because, Convention of States is really where I got my love and my passion and my intrigue, my push to be to be self-governing. And so, Vicki, I just want to say first, thank you. Thanks for being here today. Thanks for everything that you do for Vermont. And thank you, most importantly, for joining COS.
Thank you, Erica. I'm really pleased to have been asked and want to use my experience, 12 years, 6 terms in our state house to help this wonderful organization and the movement. It's happening around the country and many supporters here in Vermont, not necessarily in our state house, but throughout the state. A lot of support for Convention of States.
Well, that's one of the things that is funny to me, that people think Convention of States is like a right-wing thing versus a left-wing thing.
Right. No.
But and I think part of that is the piece where we talk about wanting a limited federal government and a balanced budget. And so I feel like that's kind of the argument from Democrats is, well, we don't want to limit the federal government and we want to spend as much money as we want.
Exactly. We have a runaway government right now in our country. And I think the majority of Americans believe that and understand it, but have in a way given up. What can we do? And Article 5 in our Constitution, this is a constitutional movement, not a political movement in the sense of right or left wing. It's all about common sense, about controlling the powers of our government that have gotten out of control because they've become politicians. They're not serving our country and our constituents. They're serving themselves, their own personal gain, and that's out of control. And that's why I'm very passionate about Convention of States, that it is a legitimate constitutional way to change the focal point of our government and to change the future for Americans all over the country.
I totally agree. And it looks like Russell agrees with us too. Convention of States is the only tool big enough for the tyranny facing America. I just feel like that is so true. When we're looking at, $30+ trillion debt, okay, to conceptualize that for people, to conceptualize that 33 trillion, and we're not even talking about unfunded mandates. That's a whole other rabbit trail we'll go down. But when we're talking about $33 trillion, they expect you guys to pay that back, right? That's not the government paying it back. That's you out of your pocketbook and your labor and your earnings, and then your children's earnings. I feel like that should be nonpartisan. Oh, did we lose you, Vicki? Mm-hmm. Oh, we got it. Vicki, are you still there?
I'm sorry. This has been a little spotty up here. I'm here. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Did you hear my last little rant about, that the debt taking money out of your pocket, that should be nonpartisan, right? They're spending up your future earnings that they expect you to pay back. How is this partisan?
And it's like running on money we don't have. When will that catch up to us? It's bound to.
Because I know for you and me, Vicki, I don't know, you seem like a bright lady. You probably do a budget for your family, right? You're probably looking at the amount of money that's coming in versus going out, and you're going, okay, this is what we can afford. Maybe we need to do an upgrade on the roof this year, or maybe we got to do what. And so we're budgeting, we're setting stuff aside, but I don't think the federal government does that.
I'm afraid not. And they're all just earmarking things, want money back for their constituents. It's how they get reelected. not really looking at the big picture. What are the priorities? And we're overspending way beyond what taxes provide. So that just can't be a good situation. None of us can live in constant debt and just do that, forever.
That's, at a certain point, if your debt is more than the money that you take in a year, like exponentially more, I think we've got a spending problem, right? It's we've just decided we're going to spend money on everything. And I think, I bet you have some knowledge of this. When I ran for office, the number of requests, right? Like, hey, I'm this, XYZ Association of America. And if you promise to give us your neighbor's money and infringe on people's constitutional rights, we'll trade you our money, power, and influence to help you get elected.
Yeah, exactly. As a legislator, there's all kinds of people coming to the table. Can we have money for this? Can we get grants? I mean, in Vermont, particularly, we have a society farming. I'm going to call that out. I've served on ag and forestry.
Yeah.
Our organic farms are closing, same with dairy. And they're surviving only on government grants and subsidies. So it's not good.
That is, and you know what? I know a bunch of farmers, and they're very prideful people. They are not people who want to be dependent on the government. But the rules are written in such a way that it basically, hey, grow some stuff, then throw it out and we'll pay you for it.
Mm-hmm. No, that's not good. Never good.
Yeah. So it just seems like we gotta pull some reins in here. All right. So I'm going to share with the viewers here, Vicki.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, whoop, not that screen. Hold on. We want to share screens, but we're going to share this guy. All right. So here's the COS website. Everybody watching, conventionofstates.com. Conventionofstates.com. All right. Now, the first thing the landing page here is where you sign the petition. All right. So what does it mean if somebody goes to the COS website and signs the petition? What happens?
Well, if they sign the petition, it goes directly then to their state legislator. They don't even have to know the email address. Convention of States will send it to your senator and your representative or representatives, and it will express your thoughts that we really want to see this happen across the country and in Vermont. So it will automatically do that, and then you'll be on email lists, and you have access to an innumerable number of short videos that teach about Convention of States, what it is, and how it works, and how the progress is happening across the country. So I've been watching a lot of those when I'm doing dishes and such. What's kind of fun is they're really short, and I have a short attention span in the sense of, and who has an hour maybe?
Yeah.
So you can literally watch a 3-minute video and learn a lot and be taught what this legitimate constitutional article is.
Well, and that's the one thing I love about the COS website is there is so much information. So if you want to get involved, you can go to this Take Action page, resources. Like you said, there's all these videos that explain it. So you know what? Let me back up a little bit, Vicki. I get a little bit carried away when I'm talking about COS because I've talked about it so much on the show that I just assume everybody knows what I'm talking about.
Right.
But why don't we explain? Can you give a summary to our viewers about what exactly, when we talk about a convention of states, when we talk about an Article 5 convention, why don't you tell folks what we mean by that?
And that's a great point. So when I first got involved as a legislator about, it's been going a few years, but I've been there 12 years, but I started signing on to the resolution itself about 4 sessions ago, I believe it was. And then I had the privilege of attending the first ever Convention of States.
That's so cool.
Yeah, I attended as one of our delegates from Vermont with 2 other legislators.
Cool.
And it was really an awesome experience right in Williamsburg. So very historical, incredibly informative. So the movement has started and has progressed across the country. It's a very grassroots group because it's a movement by the people, not by our Congress, not even by our legislatures, starting with the people and bringing forth the idea that this resolution needs to happen in every state house that specifies gathering together, all together, every state coming together for a convention of states for the purpose of amending our Constitution for specific reasons. And every resolution that's proposed in every state house will have the same reasons why they want to see this happen, what amendments they want to propose. And term limits, runaway spending, in other words, limiting our debt, and also limiting the power of Congress over the states. They're just getting too big for their britches, as we all know, and dictating to the states. So we're trying to rein in this out of control government and out of control spending, and we can do it legitimately through this convention. And it would call for, it needs three-fourths of the states have to, at the actual convention, bring those amendments forward and vote in favor of them. Now, in the process right now, 34 legislatures across the country have to pass this resolution. When those 34 states happen, which we're more than halfway there.
That's what I was trying to remember. We're like, what is it, like 17 or 18 now?
Yes.
Close? Okay.
With quite a few right now, even in state houses that have passed one chamber so far.
Right, but they have to pass both.
Yes. And so it's a high bar, and it's sometimes daunting, and people say you'll never do it. A lot of naysayers. It's not going to happen. You know what? There's a very strong movement happening, and I believe it can and will happen. So 34 states are needed for their own state legislation. And then when that happens, they take that to Congress. Congress has to call the Convention of States. Every state gets a vote. And it will have its own convention and its own delegates, its own committees, and they'll bring forth these amendments. Then those amendments have to go back to the states for ratification. So it's a process for sure, but it's actually an ingenious article that was put in our own Constitution by our founding fathers, who saw the need that eventually our government can and will most likely be too big for their britches, and the people have to rein that back in and take back control.
That's right. Because we can't count on the federal officials to take away their own power, right? We've seen that.
Congress will not do it.
That's right. They're not going to cut the budget. They're not going to take away or limit their own power. And the founders knew well enough that eventually we might need a mechanism to lawfully take back control of our government and to infringe basically for the states to press power upon the federal government, right? Because we are a representative republic. We're the 50 United States of America, which means each state has a share or a say in the federal government, right? But now the federal government's so big and we got this huge bureaucracy, they're just like, we don't care. And they're just like stomping all over everybody.
It's true. And they keep voting themselves more salaries, more benefits. Right here in Vermont, there's a bill to give health care benefits to legislators. We're part-time here, and we don't have a large salary, and that's just crazy. They want to move us more and more to full-time. And when you get full-time legislators, they're going to control every area of your life.
See, this is the thing, Vicki. Vermont has, just over 500,000 people. And yet we have as many legislators as there are in Texas, which has 30 million people, and Texas only meets for about 3 to 6 months every 2 years. And yet Vermont legislators feel like they need to be full-time all year round, make more money, and have better benefits than the average Vermonter.
It's not right. It's not right. And like you said, we have a small population. The beauty of Vermont government is that we're accessible. When you can walk into our state house and you'll see the governor there. You can meet him at coffee once a week. the legislators are accessible in the cafeteria. You can walk into any committee without knocking on the door and sit down and listen, or even ask to testify. And that's a beautiful thing in Vermont. But more and more, they're pushing even the public out. When COVID happened, the public was pushed out.
Pushed all the way out.
I just see that they want more and more power and more control. And it's a very big imbalance here in Vermont.
Yes. So I know Susan says, subject, yes, let's give the delegations a chance to do what's best for the country. And she said there's 19 passed. So Susan, thank you for correcting me. And check this out. I've got the map up here. Whoop, here we go.
Yeah.
So the green, okay, so the green is what has passed, okay? So the green states are what have passed all the way through both chambers of the state and then been ratified by the state. So like signed by the governor, blah, 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 whatever, right? And then, so then blue has active legislation. Oh, there we are. Look at us. That means it's been submitted. That means our resolution has been submitted. Now, previously, Vicki, my understanding is that it has not been taken off the wall yet.
Right.
And what that means for the lay people out there is in our government, we've got a bunch of different committees, right? You've got government ops and things like that. And each committee is responsible for certain bills and certain things. Now, the COS resolution is in the government ops committee. And so when they say it's on the wall or taken off the wall, it means that it's actually being taken up and discussed. Did I say that right?
You did, Erica. And the reason that little term off the wall is they literally have a paper number and name of that bill or resolution on the committee wall on a bulletin board. And the committee will look up there and say, what are our priorities this session? Convention of States is on the wall. It's got a number. And then the leadership of our state house, the committee chairs, the Speaker of the House, and also in the Senate side, they decide the agenda for the year. So right now it's a critical time what they're deciding to take up. Also, they can at least do the courtesy of giving that bill in the committee a hearing, so to speak, where you can invite a few folks in. The sponsor of the bill, who's Representative Mark Higley, who sits on that committee, can present to the committee what this resolution is and what it could do, and then have some expert testimony, perhaps from COS themselves, either through Zoom or come into the committee and say, here's what's happening across the country. So they could at least give the dignity to this resolution to do that. So far, that's never happened. They've ignored the resolution. It sits on the wall. So what I'd like to mention is, what can you do out there, Vermonters? All right?
You guys, Vicki's talking to y'all, okay? She's talking to you guys.
Woohoo,
okay.
All you. Let me tell you, you have more power than you realize. And I've seen other grassroots organizations come into our state house and make a big impact.
That's right.
But it's work, and you have to show up in person. You have to make personal phone calls or letters, personal ones, not necessarily the email blast. Legislators are bombarded with topics, and they will tune you out if it's just a legislative, kind of blast that just wrote. It's not personal.
Yeah. So that's what follow-up. So sorry, totally interrupting you, Vicki. So what you guys need to do, go to conventionstates.com, sign the petition, but then also send a personal email to your people. You guys, I use this website. Where is it? Hold on. Let me, it's called, where did it go? Oh, shoot. Find your representatives. Oops. Nope. Hold on, you guys. I'm actually going to share this with our viewers, Vicki. I have this link to a website where you can just add your address, and it tells you who all of your elected representatives are, and they give you all of their contact information. So you guys, I'm putting it in the chat. So what Vicki said, go to Convention of States, sign the petition, but then also find out exactly who your local reps are and then reach out to them personally as well.
Exactly. And a personal visit or coming into the State House, particularly during lunchtime, their legislators are milling around in committees or leaving committee to go to the cafeteria. You can always send a personal, you can call the State House actually and say, hey, would you leave a message for my representative? I'm so-and-so, and I would like them to support a Convention of States resolution. And really, overall, act as if your legislator has no idea what a Convention of States is. Don't assume they do. You might have to call and say, here you are. This is what this actually is. And would you support these ideas of some term limits in our Congress, of this runaway Congress that's spending us out of our minds, out of our ability to ever pay back? We need we need help, and here's how to do it. Go ahead and educate your own legislator.
And I think what's really important, if we haven't mentioned it already, you said every state has to pass identical resolutions for a Convention of States to happen. So that's what's 34. One of the things. That's one of the things. Right. That's really important for people to understand, that each one of these resolutions has to call for the same topics of conversation. So if Mississippi is like, well, yeah, but we also want to talk about underwater gator beds. I literally just made that up. That doesn't matter, because that's not what's part of the COS resolution.
That's right.
So the COS resolution that's been passed by 19 states so far is to discuss and to make constitutional amendments. Let me see if I'm going to get this right, Vicki. We want something like a balanced budget. Okay, that's not what COS says, but that's what I'm calling it. I'm saying no more debt spending. Take away the black card, right? You were talking about term limits for federal officials, and then reducing the size and scope of the federal government, right? Did I get those three kind of right?
Yes, those are the three main topics that are being addressed. And there's a lot of fear out there. Oh, runaway Congress. Oh no, a runaway convention. What's going to happen? So let me just help ease any of those fears and misconceptions that the runaway convention is such a slight possibility, because they will have those focused topics. And then you have all these people coming to the table, and it's a high bar. It's a high bar. 38 states will need to pass these amendments in that convention, and then it goes to the states for ratification. So it's very high bar, and it will express the will of the people, of the majority of Americans who do believe it's time. This is the time. This is the mechanism. The Congress won't fix itself, so we have to step up and do that. All of a sudden, I can't hear you, Erica.
Oh, that's because I muted my microphone.
Okay, sorry.
No, that's my fault.
Okay.
We got Haley says, yes, give people the opportunity to be heard. I think that's the thing that is most important to highlight with all of this, is that the individual has become so small in comparison to how huge the government is.
Right.
And particularly in Vermont. Now, again, I said earlier in the program, every place has their problems. Texas is no different. Florida, Tennessee, everywhere has their problems. But we need to be able to control things, right? We need to be able to have access. We need to be able to tell our officials what we want them to do, and make sure that, they're just not being outrageous and out of control. I think that's not too much to ask.
Right. Yes. So this is the way to go.
Let's do it. All right, Vicki, I'm going to keep you in the stream here for a little bit. And we got Guy Page joining us for the legislative wrap up. And I just want to have you guys in here kind of at the same time, because you're both working in the legislature right now. Guy Page, welcome to the program. Thanks for coming in with us. Yeah. Oh, we got,
hello.
We have your audio?
Can you see me and hear me?
There we go. Guy, thanks for joining us.
Can you? Okay.
I think we might have a little bit of a delay.
Okay.
Oh, it looks like we got a little bit of a delay.
I can see myself now. Yeah.
That's well, your audio is about 30 seconds behind your video. So let's see if it gives it time to catch up here. Say something for me, Guy.
Okay, I will. I just said something.
Okay, so that's delayed. Do me a favor, Guy, log out and try logging back in and see if that corrects our lag issue.
Yes.
All right, cool. All right, well, Vicki, I'm going to keep you in here for a minute longer. We're going to talk about COS a little bit more, maybe the legislative session. Why don't you give people, can you hear me, Vicki? Oh, how come I can't hear you? That's weird. All of our audio is going a little crazy here, guys. Let's see what we got going on. Vicki, you got me? Oh, looks like Vicki's up. Is she freezing too? Still got audio, Vicki? Hello? Nope, she can't hear me. All right, guys, we got a little bit of a technical issue going on here. Give us just a second. Oh yeah, we're still rolling. We're still live, but I don't know if I got any guests right now. Vicki, can you hear me? Okay.
Can you hear me now?
Nope, you got a real bad connection, Guy. It's your audio and video is not lining up together. So I think that's going to be a little bit hard. Vicki, make sure you're not muted. It doesn't look like you're muted, but
okay.
All right, guys, give us just a second, you guys. We're going to try to figure out if we can get any of this taken care of. Give us just 1 second. All right. Well, that might be the end of the episode, you guys. If we can't get the audio and video to work correctly for our guests, Guy, let's try this one more time. Let's see if we can get your audio and video lined up. That's a little bit closer.
Yeah.
Why don't you
How's
tell
that?
It's not good. We can give it a shot and see if we can get through it. But
okay.
So hold on, you guys. We're working out some technical stuff. All right, guys. Well, I think that's probably the end of the episode today. Not sure what's going on with our guests. Connections, unfortunately. Looks like we're not going to be able to do that legislative wrap up with Guy this morning. Hopefully we'll get him back maybe next week or for a special episode. But yeah, we're having some technical difficulties, you guys. I don't know. I don't know. This is the nature of internet in rural Vermont. Vicki, if you're still watching, yours did awesome. She was having some internet issues this week at her residence, and so she had to find an alternative location with some good internet, and she did a great job. And yeah, it looks like we're not able to get Guy Page in. So we'll just do a quick wrap up. You guys, I just want to say thank you for joining us today. I'm glad we got to talk about Convention of States here for a few minutes and what they got going on. It's one of my greatest passions, is encouraging people into self-governance. That's really why I got started. It was the thing that got me passionate about Vermont and things that are going on, because I realized fully that to be super cliche about it, I need to be responsible. I need to be the change that I want to see in my community. And if I see that there are people being mistreated or harmed in some way, I'm going to stand up and I'm going to take responsibility for that. And I really hope to encourage you to do the same thing. Nobody's coming to rescue you. Nobody's coming to save your family. No one cares about your kids and your grandparents as much as you do. So you have to make sure that the government does not get in the way of your ability to care for your family. That's what Convention of States is about. Self-governance, being responsible for yourself, taking responsibility for your community and for your family. And so I just love it. I love COS. I love what they're doing. We're going to try to have Mr. Guy Page on here again soon. Before we go, though, I do, even though we didn't get to talk to Guy, I just love Guy Page. He's so good at what he does. He's given us such good information. So let me just really quick before we go. If you guys aren't yet a member of Vermont Daily Chronicle and you read this publication on a regular basis, I really want to encourage you to support financially. Okay. Guy Page wants to grow, wants to expand, wants to be able to have, journalists in other areas that can cover more things. But in order for that to happen, you guys have to contribute. So just like we need to be self-governing when it comes to state and federal government, we also need to be self-governing in the way that we communicate and the way that we receive information. So, CNN, WCAX, these organizations have a ton of money, a ton of backers, people who advertise, give them tons of money. And if we as conservatives don't put our money where our mouth is, we don't then get to be surprised that we don't have a voice and we don't have a seat at the table. So if you're not already subscribed, I'm a subscriber. I pay a monthly fee that comes right out of my bank account to Vermont Daily Chronicle because this is of value to me. So if this content is of value to you, go and donate. Go to, where is it? Subscribe. Go subscribe. Become a member. Put your money where your mouth is. And donate. You can do it, $5, $10, $15, $100 a month, whatever you can afford to contribute for this kind of information. And while you're at it, go to our Subscribe Star, Generally Irritable Subscribe Star. We're traveling across the country. We're putting our own money to go to events to get information to bring to you guys. But I can't do that forever for free for nothing. Okay, that stuff costs money and I'm not rich. Okay, if it's of value to you, subscribe, contribute. $5-10 a month goes a long way. Also, if you have a business that you'd like to advertise, we can do ad reads on this program. You can advertise on Vermont Daily Chronicle. Okay, there's a lot of opportunities to participate and contribute. So don't be a sucker. Okay, don't do it. Let's see. What do we got? Check out this toolbox that Guy put online. Patty, I didn't get a link. Did you put a link? Let me see. Is there a tool? What toolbox? Tell me what toolbox. Oh, toolbox to follow and influence the legislature. Look at that. Thank you, Patty Myers. You're so smart. Look at this. What do we got? Oh, it's like links to people and how to contact, ways to get involved, a directory. Look at all this. House bills that have been published. Ooh, Senate bills. Look at all this work he's doing. There's a press list you can go to. Guy Page is awesome. Not to say that the other folks who are doing conservative stuff are bad. Just saying. Guy Page is awesome. So that's my that's my pitch for Guy Page. All right, you guys, we're gonna wrap it up a little early this week. Next week, I've got a interview with Robert Chernin, who is the chairman of the American Center for Education and Knowledge, ASIC. It's a think tank based out of New Hampshire. So we've got actually some folks who are really trying to build a platform for conservative values right up in the Northeast. So we've got a pre-recorded episode with Robert because the Hubs and I are going to be away for our anniversary next week. We're celebrating 8 years of marriage on Valentine's Day. I'm super duper excited. And again, we're going to be out of town. So next week's episode is going to be pre-recorded, and then we'll be back live on the 24th. All right, you guys, have a great weekend.